A case whereby the students assigned to each teacher is carefully selected, probably due to personal request by present or due to stubbornness and smartness. This is not equivalent group design example because the examples are not equal. By evaluating the effectiveness of each teacher teaching method this way, we may conclude after post-test has been carried out. However, this may be influenced by factors like the natural sweetness of students. For example, a very smart student will grab more easily than his or her peers, irrespective of the method teaching. Next is about the characteristics of experimental research. The first one is variables. Experimental research contains dependent and independent and extraneous variable. The dependent variable are the variable being cheated or manipulated and are sometimes called subject of the research. The independent variable are the experimental treatment being exerted on the dependent. And then extraneous variables, on the other hand, are other factors affected the experiments that may also contribute to the change. The next characteristic is settings. The setting is where the experiment is carried out. Many experiments are carried out in the laboratory, where control can be exerted on the extraneous variable. Eliminating them, other experiments are carried out in the less controllable setting. The choice of setting used research depends on the nature of the experiments being carried out. The third one is irrevariable. Experimental research may include multiple independent variables, for example, time, skill, test, scores, and it. Next, the material is about the advantage of experimental research. The first one is it provides researchers with a high level of control. The second one is there is no limit to the subject matter or industry involved. The third is experimental research provides conclusions that are specific. And then the result of experimental research can be duplicated. The five advantages of experimental research is the natural setting can be replicated with faster speeds. And then experimental research allows cause and effect to be determined. The seventh is it can be combined with other research methods. And then about the disadvantage of experimental research. The first one is the results are highly subjective due to the possibility of human error. Second one is experimental research can create situations that are not realistic. The third one is it is a time-consuming process. And the final is there may be ethical and practical problems with variable control. That's all the material that I can deliver, and the next material will be delivered by Selvia Asrionika. To Selvia Asrionika, it's your turn.
research, and the third is zero correlational research. And the next is data collection in the correlational research. There are three methods. The first is observational study, and the second is simulation, and the third is survey. Okay, that is my explanation about the correlational research.
Okay, my name is Mulyani. I want to explain about the next material is about example of correlational research. The example of correlational research have three example. The first is he want to know if old people are less likely to be pensioned. The second is you want to know if there are correlation between how much people earn and the number of children that they have. And the last is he believed that domestic violence caused a brain hemorrhage. The next material is the characteristic of correlational research. The characteristic of correlational research have three characteristics. The first is the correlational research is non-experimental. The mean of correlational research is non-experimental is correlational research does not involve manipulating variables using a scientific methodology is in order to agree or disagree with hypothesis. The second is correlational research is backward looking. Correlational research doesn't take the future into consideration as it only observes and ensures that reasons historical relationship between two variables. And the last is the correlational research is dynamic. In these characteristics, statistic pattern between two variables that results from correlational research are ever changing. Okay, the next is the advantages of correlational research designs. The first is the correlational designs used in many cases because the research is available. Data make it easy to understand. The second is the where carrying of experimental research, you can easily determine the statistical relationship between two variables, and it usually very realistic measurements of the behavior and its possible cause as well. And the next is it usually does not involve repeated administrations of behavioral measures, thus avoiding pre-sensitizations. The disadvantage of the research is the correlational research is the major the disadvantage of correlation and designs is they leave the actual reasons for the association found quite unclear. Jadi maksudnya dari kekurangan research ini dia tuh lebih tidak bisa diterapkan di dalam kehidupan nyata karena tidak memiliki pendapat atau uji hipotesisnya kurang jelas, seperti itu. Sekian. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.